It's January 21st, 2026, and today we need to get into all of the major updates with this weekend's winter storm. We could see major impacts stretching from the central to southern Rockies all the way out towards the East Coast, including up through New England. And we're not just talking about snow, we could also see a major ice storm, potentially a catastrophic, crippling ice storm for some. The temperatures are also a big part of the story. If you're anywhere in this region here, you could see negative feels like temperatures as we push through this weekend and into early next week. I really appreciate you guys watching this video, and if you like this type of content, don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell. And of course, if you like the video, let's get into the weather updates. Starting very quickly with our live radar, we do have a clipper system moving through the Great Lakes region. This is going to move into New England and off the coast as we move throughout the day. We have another clipper system right behind it here, moving through the northern plains. This is going to be trailing this clipper system out ahead of it. Now, down in the south, we do have some thunderstorms. Nothing severe right now. It is possible to get a little severe weather with this system down here, although really just expecting some showers or thunder showers to move off into the northeast throughout the day. We do have a general thunderstorm warning out, I think, for portions of eastern Texas, Arkansas, Louisiana, Mississippi, but that's about it. All right, getting into our 7 to 10 day forecast, and we're looking at the euro right now. I'm pretty disappointed with the euro over the last 48 hours. We've seen such a major shift over the last 24 hours with the euro taking this snowstorm to the north. Now we still do have some models holding it to the south this weekend. We're going to get through all of this, but I'm a little bit disappointed again because I've never seen this major of a shift with the European model over 24 hours. And the Canadian model actually looks like it's going to come out on top with the forecast for this winter storm. All right, here we go. Moving throughout today, those clipper systems move through the northern plains, upper Midwest, Great Lakes region out into New England. You can see here we are very, very cold out east. We have some precipitation obviously moving in off the Gulf. That's going to be pushing out east, pushing into Thursday and Friday. We know what happens as we get into Friday morning, Friday afternoon. You start to get this Bear Clinic boundary out here. You have this Baja low activating our subtropical jet. So now we have a ton of moisture streaming into the southern plains from the Pacific, from the Gulf, and we have all of that Arctic air diving in, meeting up. This is what's going to ignite this potentially once in a decade winter storm. Here we go, getting into Friday evening. Now we have some ice forming through portions of Texas, Oklahoma. You can see we have all of the snow potentially falling from really South Dakota all the way down into the Texas border, Red River Valley region. We push out into Saturday morning. We start to get this system moving off into the east. We have some rain down here in southern Texas, potentially a big, maybe even a catastrophic ice storm for portions of Arkansas, Oklahoma, Texas. Major snow potentially falling through portions of Oklahoma, Kansas, Missouri, and Arkansas as well. Moving a little bit further, we get into Saturday afternoon into Saturday evening. Now we have the snow stretching from the southern Rockies, potentially all the way out towards Virginia, West Virginia, and we have heavy, heavy snow falling through portions of Kentucky, southern Indiana, southern Illinois. St. Louis, your numbers have been moving up, and we're going to talk about that in a little bit, but now your ice is stretching all the way out through Tennessee. Now, the European, again, is shifting the snow way north. I mean, like I said, I've never seen in a 24-hour span the model move this much, and it's just, if I'm being honest, a complete breakdown from the European model. Just to show you, this is what we were looking at 24 hours ago. Look at that shift in just 24 hours from that southern snow line to that northern snow line. Pretty major shift. Now we're getting into Saturday evening, into Sunday morning, and now we have this ice stretching potentially from central Texas all the way out towards the North Carolina coast, and we have a major snowstorm on our hands for portions of the Ohio Valley, Midwest, out towards the Mid-Atlantic, and then we push through Sunday, getting into Sunday afternoon, and then into Monday morning, and this is big snow for potentially DC all the way up to Boston. Big, big snow. Now, we've seen this model run go north 5 times in a row. Could it go even further north on the next run? I think it's possible. We still don't have good consensus on the models though. The GFS still has this snow much farther to the south. So does the GraphCast, and it looks like the NAM as well. So we'll have to see what happens here, but we're going to go over temperatures, snow totals here in just a second. Here's our national blend of models, and you can see it is still giving the opportunity for snow pretty far south. And you'd say, okay, well, after looking at the European, why is that snow line so far south? Again, there are runs that just don't believe we're going to have that much warm air aloft pushing into the south, and it's not going to completely choke out the snow. So we'll go over that in a second. Here's something really interesting I wanted to show you guys. This is Saturday night going into Sunday morning. I want you to look at these temperatures here. We're talking about potentially in upstate South Carolina, 26 degrees, 23 into Charlotte. The Research Triangle, we could be in the low 20s. Okay, we're not just below freezing. We're potentially 10 degrees below freezing in this region. So we're not just, upper 20s, right around, hovering around 32. We're well below freezing. Well, the European model thinks this is all going to be ice. We're not going to get any snow, even though you're 5 to 10 degrees below freezing. And that's because of, again, the warm air that it thinks is going to be pulled in off the Gulf because we have a deepening low. It's going to help pull that warm moisture in off the Gulf, and you get this kind of warm nose, which you can see right here. And what this does is, even though it's freezing on the surface, you go up just a little bit above your head and it's above freezing. So your precipitation doesn't have enough time to turn into snow, and it just falls as freezing rain. There are models that say we're not going to be dealing with that much warm air aloft. And I will say warm air aloft and the temperatures from the floor to the ceiling, like I always say, are very, very hard to predict. They're very hard to predict. A major winter storm like this, a potentially once in a decade winter storm like this, the algorithms aren't built for systems like this. This is a winter storm that doesn't come along very often. So you still have to consider the possibility that you do get snow a little bit farther south if the models are wrong about how much warm air is aloft. But right now, again, even though you're well below freezing down in this region here, I would say the bulk of the models are still projecting a major ice storm here instead of snow. And just to show you, there's your temperatures and there's the precipitation falling. It's all ice, no snow. All right, now let's go through the comparison of the GFS and the European. The GFS still keeps the snow much further to the south. You can see a foot of snow out here through portions of the central to southern Rockies. You've got almost a foot up here in northern Texas, trying to get like a half inch, maybe an inch down into Dallas. And then you've still got a foot or more through most of Oklahoma. Northern Arkansas, central to southern Missouri is doing pretty good. Almost all of Tennessee gets snow in the GFS. Most of Tennessee doesn't get snow in the European. Kentucky is still a great place to be. Central to southern Illinois, central to southern Indiana, central to southern Ohio. Let's push out east on the GFS. You can see what's happening here. Still putting snow down into Charlotte, even though on the European model, our snow line is way north like this. And then West Virginia, I think, is a great place to be. The mid-Atlantic, up the New England coast, we have a lot more snow now showing up on the north side of this on the GFS. And again, that just has to do with a stronger system, a deepening low that's going to try and really amplify that snow up to the north. Moving into our European model, you can see where the differences lie. Southern Oklahoma, you're not in the snow here. You get into Tennessee, and you may even miss out on snow in Nashville, according to the Euro. I don't think you will, but according to the Euro, you could. What's different on the Euro too? Now suddenly, St. Louis, a foot of snow. You get into Indianapolis, a foot of snow. More snow into Michigan, even more amplified snow into Kentucky. I mean, 15 to 16 inches in Owensboro, Kentucky on the latest Euro. Pushing further out east, where's all the snow here on the Euro? Again, it's gone. And not because we're not freezing at the surface, but because there's a lot more warm air aloft on the Euro. What does this do though? A lot more warm air aloft? Well, it amplifies the snow to the north even more, which is why the Euro is painting a foot to a foot and a half for everyone up here through portions of Ohio, West Virginia, the mid-Atlantic, in New England. So again, we still have a lot of uncertainty, unfortunately, in the short to medium range here, just because it is very hard, like I said, for models to forecast a storm like this. That doesn't happen very often, and especially a storm where it's extremely hard to figure out how much of that warm air is going to be aloft, what's going on in the mid layers of the atmosphere, of the troposphere as this system moves through. So just continue to get your updates. We're going to see the snow line shift a little bit more before the system moves in. You don't want to believe any one model run. We have to look at everything together. I quickly wanted to show you our 10-day temperature anomalies from the Euro. Look at this. It is freezing from the plains and out east. And we push all the way out through potentially February 5th. We're talking over 2 weeks now, and it still looks cold out east. If you miss out on southern snow here, guess what? There's going to be more opportunities. I can almost guarantee you. Here's our 30-day 500 millibar height anomaly from the European weeklies. And do you notice anything? Crazy blocking up there over Greenland, some potentially good high latitude blocking up there over Canada, and then Alaskan ridge still. This represents more of what we're seeing right now, just an absolute breakdown of the tropospheric polar vortex. Guys, this cold could really extend into February. And our teleconnections are extremely easy to explain because guess what? Our Arctic oscillation is negative, 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 negative. Our NAO is negative, 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 negative. This is just a freezing pattern for the states, especially out east. Unfortunately, ahead you see a little bit more ridging, positive PNA potentially for the west. But again, this all in conjunction with our high latitude blocking on negative WPO. There's nothing to say other than it's still an extremely cold signal ahead, much colder than your typical winter, but I'll continue to update you on the changes with our teleconnections. Latest MJO forecast, still seeing a potentially amplified phase 8 through phase 1. Maybe it de-amplifies as we get into phase 2, but as we know, 8, 1, and 2 are very cold signals. So this, with our teleconnections, with what we're seeing with the 500 millibar blocking, crazy times ahead, and I think still plenty more opportunities. I don't know if I want to say plenty more opportunities, but definitely more opportunities for snow in the south and up the east coast. What this pattern could do, unfortunately, though, is really choke out the chances for a lot of snow up in the northern plains, the upper Midwest, and potentially the Midwest even moving forward. We're going to have to see here. I think this winter storm this weekend is going to supply a lot of snow for portions of the Midwest and Ohio Valley, and you guys are going to be fine hitting your averages and surpassing your snow averages this year. The last thing I almost forgot to mention is the ice totals with this storm, and take this seriously. Don't go out and take everything off the shelves in your grocery store. Leave some for other people, but ice can be catastrophic. If you do get a half inch to an inch, hopefully not more than that, an inch and a half plus of ice, you can be without power for quite a while. Roads can be undrivable. Trees can come down. Power lines can go down. So take a look at this. If you're anywhere, especially in these darker pinks right here, we're talking about a good portion of Texas, central to southern Arkansas. You can see Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, potentially a big swath of Tennessee. And then we move out east into Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina. Again, you could see crippling ice this weekend. It's going to cause all sorts of headaches with travel. This winter storm could affect over 150 million people. Even if you're going to a state that isn't in the southern plains, out through the Ohio Valley and out east, your traveling could be affected whether you're driving through here or flying through here. I think there's going to be an insane amount of delays this weekend. Again, I appreciate you guys watching this video. I try and upload content like this every single day and live stream every single day. I will be live streaming again this evening. I'm going to try to get on around 8 o'clock. And don't forget, if you want to join the best weather Discord out there, the link to my Discord is in the description of all my YouTube videos. Tons of weather enthusiasts in there. Come ask me questions, get daily and live updates. Again, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video or the next live stream.